First, we have to export our Sibelius file as a MIDI. So I'm going to File, Export, clicking on MIDI, type 1. And I like to tick off this box here that says Export Pickup Bars as full bars pad with rests. You don't need that. Save it as a file name into a place that you will remember. I'm going to call it Quartet number 14 MIDI. So I know it's a MIDI without looking at the file extension. Now I'm opening up the MIDI in Sibelius just to show everyone something. You don't have to do this, but you'll see how much gets lost in translation when we look at a MIDI file in a notation software. First off, we see the key signature is correct. The notes and rhythms are there. However, the time signatures are a little bit funny because of the pickup note. We're missing slurs and we're missing dynamics. Well, we're missing the visual interpretation of dynamics. Right. Also, I noticed the cello part is missing in some part of it. That's just a Sibelius thing. Turn that back on. So if you see these gray numbers up top, those are actually velocity parameters. Velocity is the volume assigned to one note. However, volume is something that can change over time. So velocity is only assigned to one note at a time. So when we have to do volume swells, we have to program them with logic. Those don't translate well out of a MIDI file. So I'm opening up the MIDI file with logic, not the Sibelius file. We're not hearing anything because I'm actually not routing the sound out of the Mac for this video. One thing we have to change is the tempo. You notice it's at 60 beats per minute. We might want it to be faster. You can simply type that in. Now, you notice we have string ensemble. We're going to change these. The point of this assignment is to change our virtual instruments. So I'm clicking on the library. You guys are not going to have the same choices because we only have the trial version in the lab, but pick different sounds for each one. All I'm doing is clicking on them and clicking on a new sound. All right? And you want to make sure the sound works. You want to make sure it sustains the notes properly. That's very important. You could go into clicking this plus sign, and you can add other software instruments this way. There are other ones installed in the lab, I think, that I don't have here. So you can be creative that way. But I'm just kind of picking them semi-randomly right now. This might not sound good, but that's not the point. It's just to make sure you understand we're swapping the sounds. Now, a big important thing we have to do is talk about automation. So I just went back to another version of the file. See that this button I'm hitting here? It's adding these yellow lines. That's our volume. So if I click and drag these things called nodes on this envelope, it changes the volume of the track. So this is different than velocity. Velocity is just for the single note. Volume is the sound of the whole track moving. And velocity, you can't change velocity mid-note. So when you're done, export everything as an audio file. And if you don't have MP3 as an option, you can just use WAV or AIF. I think it's fine. And then you can convert it after the fact unless it lets you upload it to Canvas that way. Hopefully that helps.